Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sliwa Stadium for tonight's SWAC baseball matchup between the visiting Alabama A&M Bulldogs and your Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Before we begin, let's meet tonight's starting lineups first for the visiting Bulldogs. Batting first and playing left field, number 7, Miles Jackson. Batting second, playing center field, number 3, Bryson Hammonds. Batting third, playing right field, number 8, Terrace Murray. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 10, Zach Rice. Batting fifth, playing second base, number 17, Isaac Castro. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 33, Tervel Johnson. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, number 1, A.J. Anderson. Batting eighth, playing catcher, number 6, Devontae Wells. Batting ninth, playing designated hitter, number 38, Charles Morris. And the starting pitcher for the Bulldogs is number 21, Anthony Mateo. The Bulldogs are coached by Louis Whitlow. He's assisted by Mark Hernandez and Desmore Joseph. And now the starting lineup for your Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Batting first and playing left field, number 1, Darryl Lee. Batting second, playing third base, number 36, Andre Martinez. Batting third, playing right field, number 5, Michael Rodriguez. Batting fourth, playing catcher, number 10, Michael Lucena. Batting fifth, playing second base, number 2, Jeter Poyeto. Batting sixth, playing shortstop, number 29, Eric Almonte. Batting seventh, playing first base, number 33, Jorge Rodriguez. Batting eighth, playing designated hitter, number 44, Jose Fernandez. Batting ninth, playing center field, number 7, Christopher Watson. And the starting pitcher for the Wildcats is number 17, Edwin Sanchez. The Wildcats are coached by Jonathan Hernandez. He's assisted by Derek Cartaya, Joel Sanchez, Hunter Allen, and Peter Vasquez. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
Live from Sliwa Baseball Stadium on the campus of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida. It's time for Southwestern Athletic Conference Baseball on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company this evening as the Wildcats start the first of a 3-game set this weekend against the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. And you may be wondering, well, why the change of venue? Well, the Wildcats share Jackie Robinson Ballpark with the local minor league team, the Daytona Tortugas. The Tortugas are home this weekend, which means the Wildcats go across town to Embry-Riddle. This is a historic baseball park here on the campus of ERAU. Multiple NAIA national championships, now a Division II powerhouse in the Sunshine State Athletic Conference for the Eagles, and it will be our home for the next 3 days. The Wildcats make one major change this evening. Edwin Sanchez will get the Friday night start for the first time this season. That honor had been given to Harbor String Abreu. But Abreu's rough outing the last time out at Mississippi Valley State, coupled with the Wildcats' inability to win on Friday nights — they've lost their last 3 Friday night contests — necessitates a change in the rotation. Everybody moves up a spot. It will be Sanchez tonight, Tanner Bocabello tomorrow night, and who knows on Sunday. Coach was still not certain who will throw on Sunday. But tonight, it's all about the Friday night baseball, and Edwin Sanchez is one of the SWAC's best. 6-1, 9 appearances, all starts, with a 2.14 ERA in 46 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed just 11 runs on 31 hits, striking out 48 and walking 19. His batting average against is 189. He's hit 3 batters. He has not thrown a wild pitch nor a balk. The left-hander, the diminutive 5'7" left-hander from Guayama, Puerto Rico. The rest of the Wildcat lineup, the exact same as the lineup that took down the Florida Gators on Tuesday. In the outfield, Darrell Lee, Christopher Watson, and Mikey Rodriguez left to right. On the infield, Andre Martinez, Eric Almonte, Judah Poyeto, and Jorge Rodriguez left to right. Lucena, the battery mate for Edwin Sanchez, on the mound. And we are underway as Miles Jackson climbs into the right-handed batter's box. And it's just about baseball time in Daytona Beach. First pitch, lefty to righty, fastball, strike. And we are underway against the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, who have struggled this season under interim head coach Lewis Whitlow. 8-31 overall, 2-13 in SWAC conference play. And the second pitch hits Miles Jackson, and he's going to take a free base. So an inauspicious start for the Wildcats, who I mentioned have dropped their last 3 Friday night contests. 1 to Jackson State, and then 2 on the road to Southern and Mississippi Valley State 7 days ago. Here's Bryson Hammonds. Hammonds, the senior, batting .295. Miles Jackson is the only Bama A&M batter batting over 300, a .355 average for him. He now stands on first after a hit by pitch. Only the 4th hit by pitch of the season for Edwin Sanchez, who will flip over back to first. Yes. So Lewis Whitlow, an Alabama A&M alma graduate in 2003, now he's in his first season as the interim head coach here at AAMU, but he was the assistant coach under the previous regime as a hitting coach. And now he's got the very difficult honor of leading this Alabama A&M baseball team. Again, 8-31 overall. First pitch is a fastball up and away for ball 1. Upstairs again, ball 2. 2-0 on Bryson Hammonds, who's batting .295. Most ABs on the team, 149. 21 runs on 44 hits, 7 doubles, 3 homers, and 25 RBI. Ball gets away from Lucena. That'll give a free base to Miles Jackson on a pass ball. So a rough first inning so far for Bethune-Cookman. So runner in scoring position, nobody out, hit by pitched pass ball, and the count is 3-0 on Bryson Hammonds. Alabama A&M played very well in their last contest on Tuesday night. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead in the first against Jacksonville State. There's a fastball strike down the middle, 3-1. But Jacksonville State eventually won 15-11 despite a late 5-run comeback in the 7th, 8th, and 9th for Alabama A&M. They got swept at home by rival Alabama State last week. Another fastball finds the zone. Count runs full, 3-2 on Bryson Hammonds. Lost the 3 games to Alabama State, 10-0, 12-1, and 15-6. Their last win was on April 7th against Tuskegee at home, 14-8. That one is ripped to deep left field, going back, and it is gone. That was a chin-high fastball that Bryson Hammonds turned on for his 4th of the year, and it's 2-0 Alabama A&M. And are the Friday night scaries coming back to hurt the Wildcats already? Plenty of Alabama A&M family and friends in the house tonight. Only the 3rd home run given up by Sanchez on the season, and his first since the 7th of March. So 2-0 on a long home run to left field by Bryson Hammonds. Still nobody out in the first. And it was a hot start for Mississippi Valley State on Friday night a week ago when they beat the Wildcats 8-6. The Wildcats scored 2 in the first, but Valley scored 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, and 1 in the eighth to survive 8-6. That's a foul ball right at home plate by Terrace Murray. The junior batting .268. 21 appearances, all starts, 82 at-bats. 14 runs on 22 hits, 5 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, and 10 batted in. High chopper foul outside of third. Count holds 0-2. I do not have official dimensions for Sliwa Stadium, but on the eye test, it is a much shorter ballpark than any the Wildcats have played in recently, maybe with the exception of Magnolia Field, a frisbee slider outside, and it's 1-2. Challenged him with a fastball, and Murray fouls it straight back. Already 2-0 Alabama A&M, 2-run home run to left field by Bryson Hammonds, as he took a fastball that was about neck high and turned on it and blistered it over the scoreboard in left field. That one's a swing and a high fly ball to left center field, but Darrell Lee is going to track it for out number 1.
Now batting number 10, Zach Rice.
There can't be a ton of panic for the Wildcats here. You've been down in games before. But it's 100% a mental thing when it's just Friday night after Friday night after Friday night. It doesn't matter who's on the mound. You always find a way to fall. Here's a high fly ball down the first baseline, trailing into foul territory. And the catch is made by Judah Poyeto, who straddles the line behind the bag in the outfield grass for out number 2. That was Zach Rice.
Number 17, Isaac Castro.
And Isaac Castro will bat now. He's got a fan club in the house tonight. Castro, the second baseman, a junior batting .222, just 12 starts on the year. 7 runs, 8 hits, 1 double, and 5 RBI. Castro from Miami, a transfer from Montreat College, pops it out of play to the third base side. And it's 0-2. Edwin Sanchez trying to get his offense to the plate. Already down 2-0. A hit by pitch and a 2-run home run by Bryson Hammonds has opened the scoring here in the first at Sliwa Stadium on the campus of Embry-Riddle. Pitch up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Plenty of South Georgia and Florida representation on this Alabama A&M squad. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout for Sanchez, but the damage done. 2 runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. And we go to the bottom of the first. Alabama A&M 2, Wildcats coming to bat. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. To the bottom of the first, Bethune-Cookman already finds themselves
Leading off for the
down
Wildcats, number
2-0
1,
against
Daryl
Alabama A&M with a Bryson Hammond's 2-run home run. But the Wildcats still have plenty of time as we meet the starter for Alabama A&M, Anthony Mateo, the redshirt junior out of Lynn, Massachusetts. In his second season with the Bulldogs last year, started 12 games. Was 1-4 with a 7.47 ERA. First pitch, fastball, ball outside and low to the lefty, Daryl Lee. Mateo has got the best ERA on the staff by a mile. He's got the most innings pitched as well. As he hits Lee in the back. That one did not look pretty. Right in the middle of the number 1 in gold on Lee's back. So the first batter of the first inning for both teams is a hit by pitch.
Now batting, number 36, Andre Martinez.
And here's Andre Martinez, who had one heck of a game on Tuesday in the Wildcat win over Florida. 3 for 6, 2 doubles, a home run, and 4 RBI. Rest of the numbers on Mateo. He's 2-3, 8 appearances, 8 starts, 1 complete game, 49 and a third innings pitch. He's given up 26 runs on 51 hits, 24 earned, striking out 29 and walking 18 with a batting average against of 264. Righty to lefty. Here's the pitch to Martinez. First pitch, fastball strike inside corner. He's hit 7 batters, now 8 on the season as Lee gets hit to begin the inning. Thrown 1 wild pitch, no balks. And the 0-1 tipped back to the screen. 0-2. Martinez, batting .319, has lifted his average up over 300. 29 runs on 37 hits, 11 doubles, 5 home runs, and 25 batted in. His 5 home runs are tied for the team lead with Jose Fernandez. 0-2. Way down and away, trying to get the chase. Martinez does not offer at it, 1-2. Correction, 3rd year in the program for Anthony Mateo, not his 2nd. But this year, of course, his best. Throwback to first, that was really close as Daryl Lee dives back in. Last time out for Mateo, 4 1/3 against Alabama State last Friday. Here's the 1-2. Martinez fouls it straight back and stays alive. Gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, all earned in 4 1/3 innings. Struck out 4, walked 4, and hit 2 batters. Once again, it's 2-0 Alabama A&M here. No outs, bottom 1. Daryl Lee on first after a leadoff hit by pitch. 1-2 to Martinez. Swinging a high chopper towards third. They'll go to first to get Martinez, and that essentially does the same job as a sacrifice bunt. Lee moves to second. Martinez out 5-3, 1 away in the inning. Now here is the hottest bat on the Wildcat roster and maybe one of the hottest bats in the country, Michael Rodriguez, batting .376 in 28 starts with 85 at-bats. 31 runs on 32 hits, 7 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, and 24 batted in. He's got Lee on second and 1 out. They're shading Lee to the right hand, or shading Rodriguez rather to the right-hand side, a pull hitter from his lefty spot. First pitch up and out, ball 1. Had an RBI on Tuesday against UF. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss through the breaking ball inside corner, 1-1. And it'll be important for the Wildcats to chase Anthony Mateo and chase him quickly, because not a ton behind him in this A&M bullpen. But Michael Rodriguez that time ahead of the fastball. And and it's 1-2. Mateo dialing it up here early after the walk to lead. Rodriguez watches one inside at the knees. That could have easily been called strike 3. Instead, it's 2-2. Behind Anthony Mateo, the best pitcher they've got is Nick Espinola at a .494 ERA, and it drops pretty quickly off from there. Once again, here's the 2-2. Strike 3, fastball upstairs. 2 outs in the inning as Rodriguez goes down. High strikeout numbers for Mateo. That's his 30th strikeout.
10, Michael Lucena.
To just 18 walks. Now Michael Lucena will try and drive Lee in from second with 2 away in the first. 2-0 Alabama A&M. Bulldogs today, maroon caps, gray jerseys, gray pants with maroon sleeves. Lucena fouls it away. And the Wildcats in their black caps, black jerseys, gold numbers, maroon trim. White pants with a maroon stripe. 1-2. That one back up the middle. Is that going to hang up in the air? No, it's not. And it's going to be misplayed in center field by Hammonds. It's going to roll behind him into the wall. Lee scores from second. Grounding third and coming home is Lucena. He's going to try to get all the way around. The throw home is late. Tie ball game in Daytona Beach. Inside the park home run for Michael Lucena. The ball was misplayed in center field by Hammonds and rolled all the way to the wall. And the speedy Michael Lucena comes all the way in to tie the game at 2. That's the second inside the park home run the Wildcats have had this season. Eric Almonte had one in the last home series against Jackson State. Now bases empty, 2 away in the inning. Here's Jeter Poyero. Poyero batting .304, 37 runs, 41 hits, first pitch strike. 12 doubles, that's tied for the team lead with Darrell Lee. 4 triples, 4 homers, and 36 batted in. Here's the 0-1. Pop fly, foul territory, first base side. The first baseman, Rice, will make the catch, but the Wildcats tie the game. So both teams score on a hit-by-pitch and a 2-run home run. This for the Wildcats, it was of the inside-the-park variety. We go to the second, tied at 2 here in Daytona between Alabama A&M and Bethune-Cookman. And as we go to break, enjoy my pregame interview with Coach Johnny Hernandez. Check 1, 2. I'm here with Coach Hernandez before the Wildcats take on Alabama A&M here on Friday at Embry-Riddle. Coach, different surroundings, even if it is a home game. How much does that affect you guys tonight?
I don't think it does. I mean, when you're on the road for 12 days, I think the beauty of it that you're able to sleep in your own bed, right? So I don't think the venue will be affecting us as much, and this is no stranger to our program. We had a couple of series last year at Sanford, and this is just the first one that we're on a different facility, but we're still going to attack the day as normal.
You guys have changed up the pitching rotation a little bit. Edwin Sanchez goes tonight, moves to Friday nights. How does that shake up the whole weekend for you guys on the mound?
I don't think it shakes it up at all, right? We're in a really good position and fortunate position where we have 3 guys that are very capable of pitching on Friday nights for us. So we're just looking for Edwin Sanchez to set the tone, for us this entire weekend, and piggyback by Boca, and then we'll figure out who's going to pitch on Sunday.
You guys brought the power over the road trip. You guys have doubled your home runs on the season, and now playing a series in a park with a little bit of a shorter porch than the Jack. Do you see that continuing this weekend?
You definitely hope so, right? But the one thing with the offense, it's not one-dimensional. The thing with playing here at Riddle is the wind's going to be a factor. It's kind of blowing in a little bit in from right, a little bit out to left. As long as our guys kind of stay head high and stay low and hit the ball hard, I think we're going to be in a really good spot.
Scouting report on Alabama A&M. I mean, they're throwing their best guy tonight. He's got a 4.3 ERA. And what do you guys have to do to bounce him early and get to a bullpen that's been shaky this season?
what we've been trying to do every series is get to the bullpen. I mean, Mateo is a really good arm for the conference. It's a 4.3 ERA on the year, but he competes. He was a highly touted kid coming out of Redan High School out in Georgia. So, we know that he's going to compete and he's going to be around the zone. It's our job to get ourselves in favorable counts, work deep counts, and get to the bullpen as quickly as we can.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck tonight.
You got it. Hail Wildcats.
We go to the second inning, 2-2. Both teams scored 2 runs in the first on a hit by pitch and a home run. And Edwin Sanchez, that one's lined to third. Martinez has it fall out of his glove. He recovers, throws to first, and the tag is applied by Jorge Rodriguez in one of the most unlikely 5-3 putouts you will ever see. That was Tervel Johnson. Lined it right at Andre Martinez. The ball popped out of his glove. He recovered, throws to first. The throw pulled Rodriguez off the bag, but in such a way that he was able to tag Johnson as he was running past him. So, 1 away in the inning. Here's A.J. Anderson. First pitch to the righty, fastball, strike over the heart of the plate. Anderson, a junior, batting .258, 19 runs, 31 hits. 6 doubles, 9 RBI, getting on base at 31.6% with 8 steals. This is an Alabama A&M team that steals pretty frequently. Chopper foul behind the plate. Bryson Hammonds has 14 on the year. Anderson has 8. The leadoff man, Miles Jackson, also has 8. Fastball upstairs, 1-1. Edwin Sanchez trying to recover after giving up that 2-run home run in the first. Misses high and inside, 2-1. Against a team like Alabama A&M, they only score 5.51 runs per game. Fly ball right center, tracking Watson. Makes the catch with his right hand, glove hand, 2 away. And you want to get a lot of stuff like that. Lazy fly balls. I mean, I'm not going to call the first put out routine by any means, but ground balls on the infield. Let your defense work for you. And of course, dial up the stuff for strikeouts when you get a chance. Sanchez, 48 strikeouts on the year, now 49 after he had 1 in the first. First pitch, fastball, strike to the right-hand hitting Devontae Wells, who's the catcher. Batting just 190 on the season. The bottom 2 in the A&M order, as their strike 2, are batting under 200. Wells, 190, 14 runs, 16 hits, 3 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, and 5 batted in, getting on base at 34.3%. Struck out 32 times, which is the most on the team, but also has walked 18 times, which is the 3rd most on the team. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Ball in the dirt. Lucena throws to first to complete the K, and that'll do it. 1-2-3 goes Bama A&M in the second. Wildcats will try to increase their lead. Or, sorry, we'll try and break a 2-2 tie, rather, as we go to the bottom of the second here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-2 here at Sliwa Stadium on the campus of Embry-Riddle University in Daytona Beach. Eric Almonte leads off for the Wildcats, the reigning SWAC hitter of the week. Almonte on the season as he takes a slider away, ball one. Is batting .313, 29 runs, 42 hits, 10 doubles, 3 homers, and 33 batted in. As he swings and misses at a breaking ball, 1-1. Almonte has been moved from the leadoff spot where he was most of the year down to the bottom third of the order. Batting in the 6th hole tonight. Fastball away, 2-1. But over the last week, 11 hits over the road trip for Eric Almonte, up and in, ball 3. (3-1). Laced down the first base line. That's going to drop in fair. Almonte takes a big turn at first and then backpedals as the throw comes in from Murray.
Now batting
Almonte aboard
Jorge Rodriguez.
With a leadoff single. And that's all you need to do if you're the Wildcats. You just got to keep putting runners on, keep putting pressure on this A&M pitching staff and defense, because we saw in the first with Bryson Hammonds misplaying that ball in center field. This is a Alabama A&M team that will beat themselves. Now it's Jorge Rodriguez out ahead of the off-speed pitch, 0-1. Rodriguez hit his first 2 home runs of the season over the 9-game road trip, 1 against LSU and 1 against Mississippi Valley. Rodriguez on the season batting .243, 20 runs, 26 hits, 7 doubles, 2 homers, 22 RBI. He's got Almonte on first with nobody out. Fastball low and away, ball 1 to the righty. Alabama A&M has the 2nd most errors in the league, only ahead of Alcorn State, and the 2nd worst fielding percentage, also only ahead of the Braves. That one, a slow dribbler first base side. It will kick out of bounds. It is a little odd because this field at Sliwa Stadium is all dirt and grass, no turf to be seen. So the ball will take some weird bounces, odd hops. We've already seen it eat up both Johnson and Martinez over at the hot corner in the first inning. So if you're a defense, you maybe want to play a little half step or a step further back to play any weird hops. Alabama A&M's fielding percentage on the season, .949 with 70 errors. 1-2. In the air down the left field line, foul, as Rodriguez was just a little bit ahead of that changeup. The Wildcats, who had the 2nd worst fielding percentage and the most errors a couple weeks ago, have really toned it down. They've played a ton better. They've increased their fielding percentage to .957, which is middle of the pack in the conference. Errors, just 63 errors on the season, still high, but not anywhere near the bottom 3. Slider just misses away, 2-2. The Alabama A&M supporters in the crowd, they wanted that one to be called strike 3, but home plate umpire Patrick Graham keeps his arms by his sides. Mateo's 2-2 from the stretch is fouled away off the inside of the bat. Long pause from Jorge Rodriguez as he backs out of the box. Alabama A&M 7th in the SWAC in batting average, .269. Spinning a throwback to first, sliding back in there is Almonte. He's on first after a leadoff single down the right field line here in the bottom of the second. 2-2 ball game between the Wildcats and Bulldogs. Alabama A&M 8th in the conference in team ERA, over 9. Runner goes, throw down to second, is ahead of him, but the tag was not applied, and Eric Almonte is in there with a steal. Good pop from Wells, the catcher, but Castro at second whiffed on the tag. And now the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. I mentioned the 8th best ERA in the SWAC as a team at 9.01. Only Grambling, Mississippi Valley, Prairie View, and Alcorn are below them in that stat. 3-2 is the count on Rodriguez, and he pops it sky high. Foul territory, over towards the netting, and it's gonna drop. Wells, the catcher, tried to read it. He ended up having to try and lean back behind his head with his glove, and the ball hits the dirt. And a second lease on life for Jorge Rodriguez, who's been another guy over the past month or so that has kind of churned his season around. He's up batting now 243. He was batting down near 200 over the non-conference play. Has kind of flourished against conference opposition. And in some of these midweekers as well, the Wildcats have been stellar in over the past month. Once again, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Waves at the changeup outside. Second strikeout for Mateo. One away in the inning. Here's Jose Fernandez, who is one of 3 Wildcats to go yard in Tuesday's win over Florida. The Wildcats have won 3 straight midweek games against top 50 RPI teams. Swept the season series with the University of South Florida. Then knocked off SEC teams in back-to-back weeks. Ranked SEC teams in back-to-back weeks at that. LSU last week, and the University of Florida 3 days ago. And have been generating a lot of national attention because of it. The 1-0 pitch to Fernandez. Swing and a miss, the breaking ball. And it's 1-1. Jose Fernandez batting .311, 17 runs on 28 hits, 6 doubles, 5 home runs, and 24 RBI. Tied for the team lead in long balls with Andre Martinez. He's got Eric Almonte on second with 1 out. Check swing, as that one is in the opposite batter's box. 2 balls, 1 strike. Got plenty of action all around the SWAC for you on this Friday evening. As the 2-1, hop foul straight back, 2-2. Prairie View A&M is facing off against Grambling State. Arkansas Pine Bluff is hosting Texas Southern. That's a massive series. 2 of the top 4 in the league going at it right there. Florida A&M hosting Mississippi Valley. Alcorn State hosting Southern. Jackson State hosting Alabama State. And of course, Bethune-Cookman and Alabama A&M. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 straight Ks as Fernandez goes down against the sweeper. And now 2 outs, and here's the 9-hole hitter, Chris Watson. Watson batting .357, just 17 starts on the year as he has cemented that center field position over Sergio Rivera only very recently. 56 at-bats, 23 runs, 20 hits, a double, a triple, 2 homers, and 14 batted in. First pitch to him upstairs with the fastball. Went 1 for 3, was hit by a pitch and scored a run on Tuesday, Chris Watson. The 1-0. That one's laced into left center field. That's going to get down and head towards the gap. Scoring from second is Almonte. Chris Watson holds up and then retreats to first after he gives the Wildcats their first lead of the game. It's 3-2. Good contact by Watson, just drilled it in the left center field gap.
Now batting number 1, Daryl Lee.
I would expect a ton of runs to be scored in this series, most of them by the Wildcats, but of course that's wishful thinking. You never know how baseball is going to go. 3-2 Wildcats here in the second. That's a throwback to first, and Watson barely gets back in there. Rice applied the tag on his back. Speaking of the around the SWAC, some stats as they currently stand. FAMU leading Mississippi Valley State in the 9th, 6-5. Alabama State in the 3rd, up 1-0 over Jackson State. Arkansas Pine Bluff beats Texas Southern in the first game of that series, 6-4. Prairie View Grambling, Southern Alcorn State, both yet to start. The 1-0 in the air down the right field line. That is going to be foul off the bat of Daryl Lee. He was hit by a pitch and scored on the inside the park home run by Michael Lucena back in the first. Wildcats making good contact here as they're trying to time up Anthony Mateo's stuff. 3 hard hit balls in the inning. Almonte single down the first base line. Watson's RBI single to left center, and now that foul ball by Lee just a little bit ahead of the breaking ball. Throw back to first. Watson dives back in. Watson's 6 stolen bases on the season, but one of 2 Wildcats in the starting lineup, the other being Michael Rodriguez, who's getting on base at over 50%. There's a ball, and it's 1-1. Lee now in his 2nd year in the program, transfer from community college ranks in Alabama. Watches one up by the bill of his helmet. 2 balls and a strike. Both teams scored 2 in the first off a hit by pitch and a home run for each. And then the Wildcats have used 2 singles and a stolen base to take the lead here in the second. Upstairs to Lee, 3 balls, 1 strike. Daryl Lee is really good at drawing walks. 35 drawn on the season, leads the team by a fair margin. And only has 2 fewer walks than strikeouts on the year. Inside, ball 4, almost hit him. And so the Wildcats will have 2 aboard with 2 out here in the second.
Number 36, Andre Martinez.
First walk issued by Anthony Mateo tonight. Only his 19th of the season, compared to now 33 strikeouts. Here's Andre Martinez, bounced out to third on a swinging bunt his first time up. Both Wildcat runners take big leads here with 2 outs. Breaking ball misses upstairs, ball 1. Daryl Lee is 3rd in the SWAC in terms of walks taken, as home plate umpire Patrick Graham is explaining something to, looks like the Alabama A&M coaching staff. That's head coach Lewis Whitlow down there, and he's going to come out to have a conversation. The Diamond Cats are back in Daytona Beach. Come catch Bethune-Cookman baseball Saturday, April 18th at 6 p.m. as they'll play the second game of this series against Alabama A&M right here at Sliwa Stadium on the Embry-Riddle campus tomorrow at 6 p.m. Admission is free, but if you can't make it to the park, we'll be on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV, also the CatEye Network on YouTube. And if you love Bethune-Cookman University sports, you don't want to miss Hail Wildcats Radio, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of all 15 Wildcat sports programs, hosted by voice of the Wildcats, Michael Turillo, and featuring the expertise of Bethune-Cookman sports information staff. Hail Wildcats Radio delivers unparalleled coverage of your favorite teams. Tune into 1380 WELE Daytona Beach every Saturday to catch the show live, or listen anytime on your favorite podcast platform. Unfortunately, no Hail Wildcats radio, no new Hail Wildcats radio this weekend, as me, Bryce, and Jade were all further afield covering the various sports here on campus, so we didn't have time to record a show. Count as a ball and no strikes to Andre Martinez, first and second, with 2 outs here, bottom 2. Fastball at the knees for strike 1. The Wildcats score a gaudy 8.3 runs per game on average. That's just outside the top 30 in Division I baseball. Number 33 in the land. A 1-1. Gets away from the catcher between Wells' legs. The runners will move up now, 2 in scoring position for Martinez with 2 outs. Darrell Lee advances to third. Chris Watson advances to third. Darrell Lee advances to second. So one swing of the bat from Martinez could widen this 1-run lead that the Wildcats have right now. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a drive, deep left field. There is no doubt about that one. Adios, amigos, over the scoreboard. Andre Martinez continues his hot streak. His 3-1 blast makes it 6-2 Bethune-Cookman. And that one was an absolute missile. Cleared the scoreboard in left field on the fly and almost hit the auxiliary lights for the tennis complex.
Now batting number 5, Michael Rodriguez.
He also hit an absolute nuke against Florida as well that cleared the bullpen and went onto the road on the fly. So back-to-back games that Andre Martinez has hit absolute missiles. Mikey Rodriguez squares to bunt, takes a strike. Chris Watson scores, Darrell Lee scores, and of course Martinez comes all the way around. 6th home run of the season for Andre. He takes the team lead as he has been unlocked of late. Rodriguez fouls it away, and he's down 0-2. 4 home runs in the last 6 games now for Andre Martinez. The 0-2 to Rodriguez. Inside almost hit him, forces Mikey to jump back. Ball and 2 strikes. Michael Rodriguez struck out his first time up, the first of 3 strikeout victims so far for Anthony Mateo, but the Wildcats have figured him out here in the second and have hit the ball hard to all fields. Have scored 6 runs. High chopper fair behind the first base bag. Rice racing to the bag and will beat Rodriguez there by a step. 4 runs in the frame for the Wildcats on 3 hits and nobody left. And we go to the 3rd inning. 6-2 Bethune-Cookman over Alabama A&M here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. We go to the third. The Wildcats played 4 in the second to take a 6-2 lead
Leading off for the Bulldogs
over Alabama A&M. It'll be the 9-hole hitter Charles Morris. First pitch, fastball, late strike call by home plate umpire Patrick Graham. It's in there for a strike. Morris, the 9-hole hitter. The designated hitter batting 152. Breaking ball, check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 2. Just 8 starts on the year for Morris, 14 appearances, 33 at-bats, 6 runs, 5 hits, a double and 4 RBI. That one off the inside of the leg of Michael Lucena, escapes to the backstop. That's the third ball we've seen get to the backstop combined between these two teams so far tonight. Isaiah Ducassi playing ball boy tonight, retrieves that for Bethune-Cookman. That one just a bit upstairs. Michael Lucena was ready to throw that one around the horn, but it's a ball and 2 strikes. Sanchez comes home with the 1-2. Breaking ball didn't catch the inside corner. 2-2. Edwin Sanchez leads the SWAC in ERA at 2.14 on the season, ahead of Rylan Morin for Arkansas Pine Bluff. There's strike 3 looking. Fastball on the black, and down goes Morris. Second straight strikeout across the inning break for Sanchez, his 3rd tonight. And now he'll have to face the 2 Alabama A&M hitters that got on base and crossed the plate. The first, back to the top of the order for Miles Jackson, who's a junior batting .355, best average on the team. Fastball missed away. 23 runs, 44 hits for Jackson, 8 doubles, 3 triples, a homer, and 21 batted in, getting on base at 47.1%. Swing and a miss and an outside fastball. Jackson almost swung out of his shoes there as he had to retreat to the opposite batter's box to stay on his feet. Jackson really patient at the plate normally as he takes strike 2 on a slider. Just 8 strikeouts and 11 strikeouts and 19 walks in 124 ABs this year for Jackson. Off the end of the bat, a flare to shallow center. Chris Watson has it tracked for out number 2. Second put away for Watson on the night, and here is Bryson Hammonds with a 2-run home run in the first, but was also responsible for the misplay in center field that allowed Michael Lucena to tie the game in the bottom of the first with an inside the park home run. Came in on a ball that was flared to shallow center, decided to try and dive for it. The ball ended up getting behind him into the wall instead of just playing it on a hop and giving up a single. Fly ball just behind the infield to the right-hand side. Communication key here, Eric Almonte will call everybody off and make the catch. 1, 2, 3, go the Bulldogs. We go to the bottom of the third, 6-2. Bethune-Cookman here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV.
Wildcats. Number 10, Michael Lucena.
We go to the third here in Daytona Beach. Wildcats lead the Alabama A&M Bulldogs 6-2. Anthony Mateo still on the mound for AAMU. Misses a fastball inside to Michael Lucena, who hit a 2-run inside the park home run in the first. That tied the game at 2 at the time. Slider away from Mateo. This Bethune-Cookman team second in the league in batting average at .289, as that one is a painful one. Right on the meaty part of the arm for Michael Lucena. And Anthony Mateo, who hit 7 batters coming into the game, has already hit 2 tonight.
Now batting number 2, Jeter Poyeto.
And for the third time in 3 innings, the Wildcats have the leadoff man aboard. Second time via the hit by pitch. Here's Jeter Poyeto, who ended the first. Wildcats have scored the most runs in the conference, 351, have the most hits, 391, and have the most RBI at 301. Really, where I think the strength of this team is going to lie as we get towards postseason play is their pitching, and not just their starting pitching. The pitching depth. First pitch down and away, ball 1 to Poyeto. I mean, we've seen guys in the midweekers against these SEC or American Conference teams come in and do very well. I'm talking about guys like Anthony Anselmo, Justin Morales, Dawson Turner. Poyeto pops it up into shallow right, headed toward the line. The catch is made by Castro, the second baseman, for out number 1.
Now batting number 29, Eric Almonte.
Because when we get to the tournament in Birmingham, it doesn't matter if we're the number 1 seed or not, you still got to win 5 games in 6 days to be the champion. And the pitching depth is what's going to get you there. Here's Eric Almonte. He led off with a single to right in the second. Stole second, then came home on the Chris Watson RBI single. Squares to bunt, takes a pitch inside, ball 1. That was a laser beam of a fastball from Mateo. Sun going down behind the third base side here in Daytona Beach. Just past the 8 o'clock hour here tonight. Floodlights on here at Sliwa Stadium on the campus of Embry-Riddle. Another one inside for ball 2. Wells faked like he was going to throw back to second. And if he did throw that, I think he had Michael Lucena dead to rights, because Lucena looked like he was almost trying to steal there. He retreats back to first, 2-0 on Almonte. If you're just joining us and wondering why the change of venue, well, we normally share Jackie Robinson Ballpark, as Almonte's 2-0 pitch is fouled away, 2-1. We usually share Jackie Robinson Ballpark with the local minor league team, the Daytona Tortugas. Normally, we try and plan our schedules so neither of us are at home at the same time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this week. They have a weekend home series, and so we're going to be over here at Embry-Riddle all weekend. 2-1, slider in on the hands, ball 3. Alabama A&M fans not happy with the squeezed strike zone from home plate umpire Patrick Graham. The other umpires tonight, Christopher Vines is at first, Anthony Green is at third. And Almonte heading the count, 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Mateo. Swing and a miss. Aggressive on a 3-1 count for Almonte. And the count goes full 3-2. Full count. That's poked into center field, another base hit. Racing from first to third is Lucena. The Wildcats will have runners on the corners with 1 out. That's maybe the weakest of the contact the Wildcats have had for hits tonight, but it does the job, just finds the gap in between the shortstop and the second baseman.
Jorge Rodriguez.
And now here's Jorge Rodriguez with a chance to redeem himself and pick up some RBI. Rodriguez struck out his first time up back in the second. Bethune-Cookman leads the SWAC in team ERA down at 4.66 ahead of Arkansas Pine Bluff's 5.35. Our second in the SWAC in runs allowed behind Florida A&M. And our first in team strikeouts. Eric Almonte will take second without a throw. And so 2 in scoring position now for the Cats as they steal another base. Wildcats now 117 steals on the season, lead the conference by a large margin. The next closest is Southern at 89. A 1-0 pitch in the air down the left field line, tailing towards the corner and foul. Rodriguez just a little bit in front of it. Georgie 1 for 4 on Tuesday against Florida. Did have an RBI single in the 7-run seventh the Wildcats had. Also walked and scored. So 2 runs scored in that game. 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. He's in a 1-1 count now. Runners on second and third. Fouled away to the first base side, 1-2. But any way you slice it, Bethune-Cookman, statistically the best team in the conference, but they have dropped some questionable games here, including the last 3 Friday night games. 1-1. In the air, left center field. That's going to split the outfielders and score 2 more. In from third, Lucena. In from second, Almonte. And the Wildcats lead 8-2. Georgie Rodriguez picks up RBI number 23 and 24 on this season with that single. And we've got some stretching and standing around, if not throwing, going on in the Alabama A&M bullpen. 8-2 Wildcats. First pitch low and away to Jose Fernandez, also struck out his first time up. These Wildcats are well aware of the 3-game losing streak on Friday nights, and we're not about to let that continue. Fernandez fouls it straight back. Pop fly behind the plate. That will get out of play. We've got right on top of the roof. I'm sitting right next to producer Lee, who is doing the scoreboard tonight. He's not actually producing. We got Dayon producing the broadcast tonight. Lee just had the biggest jump when that ball went off the roof. 2 strikes on Fernandez. Still just 1 away here in the 3rd inning. Fernandez stays alive again with another foul ball. Just went final. Florida A&M scores 2 in the 9th to walk off Mississippi Valley State 6-5. That game just went final. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fernandez has now struck out twice tonight. There's 2 outs. That was a really nice slider by Mateo. Still 1-0 Alabama State over Jackson State in the bottom of the 4th.
Christopher Watson.
And the only other game that is done in the SWAC so far tonight, Arkansas Pine Bluff beats Texas Southern 6-4. That's at UAPB, a really important series for both of those teams. And Texas Southern now falls out of a tie for first. It came into tonight tied with the Wildcats and Florida A&M for first in the conference standings at 12-3. They're now 12-4. Florida A&M now 13-3. The Wildcats, if they win tonight, would tie them at 13-3. Arkansas Pine Bluff goes to 11-5, just 2 games back. Swinging a fly ball to center field. Hammonds will not get there. It's going to drop in front of him. Here's the throw to third as they try to go to first to third, and that is the end of the inning. A little bit too aggressive there for Georgie Rodriguez. He's thrown out on a nice throw by Hammonds. Chris Watson singles to center, but that is unfortunately the end of the inning. 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 left. And we go to the 4th inning of play. The Wildcats have opened up an 8-2 lead on Alabama A&M here on the CatEye Radio Network. We go to the 3rd. Sorry, correction, we go to the 4th here in Daytona Beach and the campus of Embry-Riddle University. First pitch, swing and a miss. That was pitch number 44 for Edwin Sanchez after giving up a hit by pitch and a 2-run home run to the first 2 batters of the 1st inning. He has now set down 9 straight. Fastball upstairs. 1-1. Pitch to Murray, big old wave and a miss. Terrace Murray, junior out of DeSoto, Texas, transfer from Navarro Community College. He's behind 1-2 on Sanchez. Here's the pitch. Fastball swing and a miss. Strike 3. 4th K for Eddie Sanchez. 1 away in the inning. And you give a pitcher like Edwin Sanchez any type of lead, much less a 6-run lead, and he's going to rock and roll with it as he has been doing. That's 10 straight set down for Sanchez. And here's Zach Rice, who popped up to the second baseman, Gino Poyeto, his first time up. That one a wild one outside. Alabama A&M, 8-31 on the year, 2-13 in conference play. Their only 2 conference wins was they took 2 out of 3 from Alcorn State. Slider away. They have not won a Division I baseball game since that last D1 win against Alcorn was on March 15th. There's ball 4. First base runner for Alabama A&M since the home run by Hammonds in the 1st. So 1 on and 1 out here in the 4th. Not to say they haven't been competitive. Their 2 games against Jacksonville State, they lost 12-7 and 15-11. And against Grambling State, they lost one of those games 9-8. Dropped all 3 games to Mississippi Valley State, but they were all close. 2-1, 9-8, and 6-2. First pitch strike at the knees to Isaac Castro. Struck out his first time up. That ended the first inning. They played an exhibition game against the Toyota Red Cruisers out of Japan back on March 30th. That was right after their Mississippi Valley series. They lost that one 13-3 in 8 innings. It's been a tough road for this Bama A&M squad this year. Whereas there's the ever-present promise of funding and facilities from Alabama A&M, as they've done with their football and basketball programs over the past decade or so. That one down low again. As Edwin Sanchez may be struggling a little bit with command. Bulldogs are back at home next weekend after not having a midweek this week. That one, check swing, no go, says first base umpire Christopher Vines. 3 balls, 2 strikes now. The Bulldogs will finish with Jackson State, Prairie View, Florida A&M, and Southern in their final 4 conference series of the season. Sanchez attacks the zone, fouled straight back by Castro. Isaac Castro, junior out of Miami. He's got a lot of family in the house tonight. Started his college career at Montreat College. He fouls another one away on a 3-2 count. Runner on first, 1 out. Top 4, 8-2 Wildcat lead. That one is launched, left field and deep. Darrell Lee goes back to the track, and he's gonna stand under it and make the catch. Good contact by Castro, but not quite deep enough. Missed a home run by maybe 8 feet.
Now batting number 33, Tervel Johnson.
Now 2 away in the inning. Here is Tervel Johnson. Grounded out to third his first time up. That was the hot shot play that was almost caught on the fly by Andre Martinez at third. And he had to pick the ball up off the turf after it bounced off the inside of his glove and throw to first. And even the throw to first wasn't great, but that one's launched. Left field and deep down the line, Darrell Lee racing over! And he makes one of the catches of the season! Tip of the cap from Johnson to Darrell Lee. Full sprint to his left. On top of the line, saves potentially 2 runs. A masterpiece of defense by Lee, and the Wildcats maintain their 8-2 advantage going to the bottom of the 4th here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Well, after making one of the best catches I've ever seen from a college player, Darrell Lee now has to lead off the bottom of the fourth. A ridiculous defensive play robs at least a run, potentially two, from Alabama A&M, and ends the top of the fourth. And now Lee gets in, and the first pitch is high and pops out of the glove of Wells behind the plate. Anthony Mateo still on the hill. Pitch number 70, that one. Wildcats have hit the ball to all fields as Mateo has gone 3 full innings, has given up 8 runs on 7 hits, 7 earned, walking 1, striking out 4. Lee in the air to left field. Tracking is Jackson. Back toward the wall, he'll make the catch, 1 away. The last 3 outs have all been recorded by the respective left fielders. 2 by Lee, 1 by Jackson.
Number 36, Andre Martinez.
Here's Andre Martinez, 1 for 2 with a mammoth 3-run home run back in the second. That cleared the scoreboard and almost hit the light pole for the tennis complex on the fly. Out to left field. This time he's got nobody aboard, 1 out. And Mateo deals as a swing and a miss on a pitch that was way outside, actually dribbled to the backstop. So no balls and a strike on Martinez. He takes a timeout, steps out of the box, then climbs back in. You gotta think that Andre Martinez was just thinking, whatever he's throwing, I'm gonna try and mash it somewhere, and that time he takes, and it's 1-1. Big hole to the third base side as the shortstop is shaded pretty far over towards the third base bag. The 2-1, pop fly, first base side down the line. And it drops off the glove of Castro, and Andre Martinez cruises into second base. The wind is blowing pretty stiffly now from right to left. Castro went out there to try and cover it. The wind blew it back towards the infield, and it ended up going off his glove. That'll be a 2-base error for Andre, and a runner in scoring position with 1 out for the Wildcats. Well, earlier in the game, I talked about the defensive lapses from Alabama A&M, about how they're second to last in the SWAC in both fielding percentage and errors committed. Well, there's another one. Second error on the night for the Bulldogs. Now here's Michael Rodriguez. First pitch, line drive foul outside of play to the first base side. Rodriguez 0 for 2. One of only 3 Wildcats not to reach base so far tonight. It's him, Jeter Poyeto, and Jose Fernandez. Everybody else has reached base at least once. Rodriguez struck out in the first, grounded out to first unassisted in the third. Low and inside, ball 1. 1-1 on Rodriguez. They're playing very pull heavy for Mikey Rodriguez, with the first baseman Rice all the way playing behind the bag, and the second baseman Castro midway between the first and second base bag with his heels on the grass. Fastball low and in, 2-1 on Rodriguez. What a revelation that Michael Rodriguez has been. Armani Newton started the year in right field. You thought he was going to be your everyday right fielder. He gets hurt. It was a bit of a rotating door in right field. Chris Watson played there. Ruben Zawani, the freshman, has played a little bit out there. That time a strike, caught the inside corner, 2-2. But then Michael Rodriguez caught lightning in a bottle and has started the last 28 games batting .376 out in right field. He has solidified himself as the right fielder of the future for this team this season. Outside 3-2, full count on Mikey. The biggest gap in the infield is the gap between third and short. Shortstop Anderson and the third baseman Johnson are playing very close to the bags. That's down and in ball 4, and it doesn't end up mattering. So an error and a walk, and the Wildcats are in business, 2 on, 1 out. Second walk of the game, third free pass overall, fourth free pass overall,
Michael Lucena.
given up by Mateo. 2 hit by pitches, 2 walks. Here's Michael Lucena and a meeting of the minds on the mound for Alabama A&M. The softball Cats are back at Sunnyland Park for one final time this softball season. Come catch Bethune-Cookman softball Friday, April 24th. That's a week from today, as they host Alabama A&M for a SWAC matchup at 5 p.m. That is the beginning of senior weekend for softball. Admission is free. Can't make it to the park. Watch every moment live for free on youtube.com/CatEye Network, or we'll have it for you at bcuathletics.com/radio. Shout out to the softball team. They're up in Alabama against Alabama State. They took the opening game of that series 9-0. Mia Gonzalez took a no-hitter into the 7th. Fastball away for ball 1 to Michael Lucena, who actually took a no-hitter into the 5th, as it was almost a run rule. Lucena, inside the park home run in the 1st, and was hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd. Came in on the Eric Almonte single. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. As seems like Mateo might be reaching the end of his rope here in the bottom of the 4th. Spin to throw back to second. That's going to be close, and out on the play is Andre Martinez as he gets picked off. Nice pickoff move by Mateo. Castro right there. And now there's 2 away in the inning with only 1 out. That's a big hit to the Wildcats' scoring chances, as Andre Martinez gets an earful from Coach Hernandez as he walks back to the dugout. The 2-0 to Lucena is a strike. Mateo has 4 appearances this season of over 90 pitches. 2-1, pop fly in the infield to the third base side. That'll be the shortstop, Anderson, to make the catch. That'll end the inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and 1 left. And we go to the 5th inning of play. 8-2. Bethune-Cookman has a 6-run lead here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. We go to the 5th inning. Wildcats with a 6-run lead. 8-2 over Alabama A&M. First of a 3-game series here in Daytona Beach over the weekend. A.J. Anderson, the shortstop, leads off for the Bulldogs. He's 0 for 1, flew out to center his first time up. Just 3 base runners allowed by Edwin Sanchez so far on 60 pitches. That's a fly ball down the first base line, headed towards the ground, and overrunning it is Rodriguez. It gets behind him, and it's going to be a double for A.J. Anderson. So now both teams have misplayed balls hit to shallow right. Michael Rodriguez just straight up overran it, and it landed behind him. That's only the second hit of the game for the Bulldogs, the first since the two-run homer back in the first inning by Bryson Hammonds, leadoff man in scoring position for Alabama A&M. Here's the catcher, Devontae Wells, 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the second. First pitch, inside ball one from Sanchez. Edwin Sanchez has got to feel hard done by his defense. That was a pretty lazy fly ball, but Michael Rodriguez completely misjudged it. Now he's got to deal with that runner in scoring position. Bunted, third base side, foul. Not a lot of scoring going on in Jackson, Mississippi. Still 1-0 Alabama State over Jackson State in the top of the fifth, but Alabama State is threatening. They've got 2 runners aboard with nobody out after back-to-back singles. Alabama State has crept up into the top 5 conversation in the SWAC after a rough start to conference play. Wells squares to bunt again. They throw back to second. And Jackson State can't really afford that many more losses. If the season ended today, they'd be on the outside looking into the playoff race. Strike on Wells. 1-2 the count. Bethune-Cookman, Texas Southern, and Florida A&M all came into the day at 12-3. Here's the pitch from Sanchez. Pop foul straight back out of play. Texas Southern lost today, so now 12-4. Florida A&M won already today. They're now 13-3. The Wildcats trying to join them at 13-3. Arkansas Pine Bluff now 11-5. 2 games back of first. Alabama State 8-7. That one a nice snag by Lucena to keep it from going to the backstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alabama State, Southern, and Grambling State in a big mismatch at 8-7. 3-way tie there. Then Mississippi Valley State, if the season ended today, would be the last team in the playoffs. They're currently 7-8. Breaking ball, that one does go off the foot of Lucena, gets to the backstop, and a free base for A.J. Anderson. Nobody out. He is now standing 90 feet away. Still don't see anybody working in the Wildcat bullpen down the third base line, so they're going to trust Edwin Sanchez here. 65 pitches in. Pitch number 66 is ball 4 to Devontae Wells. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Second walk of the game for Sanchez. Here's the 9-hole hitter, Charles Morris. Struck out looking his first time up back in the third. And has a chance to lower this gap that is currently 8-2 and has been since the second inning. Morris, the big, tall, left-handed hitter, the DH. Swing and a miss, the slider. Morris, the 6'3", 280-pound sophomore, checked back over to first. Out of Pine Hill, Alabama, and Thomasville High School, now in his second year in this Alabama A&M program. Swing and a miss. He's ahead of the breaking ball again. He's down 0-2. Has also pitched, Morris, 2 appearances this year, 11 last year. Hit .315 a year ago, 152 right now. And he's behind 0-2. Here's the pitch from Sanchez. Low and away. Big fella Charles Morris trying to knock in the first Bama A&M run since the first inning. Runners on the corners, nobody out. And he gets one to second base. The flip to second for one. Back to first, double play. One run will score, but it's not an RBI. Coming in is Anderson. And there's 2 away in the inning. That's probably best case scenario for the Wildcats, as now they see their lead trimmed to 5. It's 8-3. But they lose Wells on first and Morris with a 4-6-3 double play. Again, probably best case scenario if you're Bethune-Cookman there. Just got a lazy ground ball to second. Poyeto, Almonte, Rodriguez turned the twin killing. And the first pitch is strike to the leadoff man, Miles Jackson. He's 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and a run scored back in the first. Inside and low ball 1. 1-1. Other than that, he flew out to center in the third. Wildcats have seen their lead trimmed to 8-3 here in the fifth, as Jackson could not catch up with that fastball up in the zone. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Sanchez trying to get away with only giving up 1 run in a very dangerous inning. Ground ball, base hit, third base side, right between Almonte and Martinez. And so the inning continues, and here's Bryson Hammonds. He's 1 for 2. Home run to left in the first and a pop out in shallow right that the shortstop, Eric Almonte, ended up grabbing for the final out of the third inning. He's trying to keep this Bama A&M rally going here in the fifth. Fastball outside. It's currently Grambling State 4, Prairie View A&M 2. That's in the top of the 6th in Grambling, Louisiana. Southern and Alcorn State in progress but not reporting a score. Runner goes to second. Here's the throw. It is in time for out number 3. Michael Lucena hoses Miles Jackson with a bullet from behind the plate. An excellent tag by Almonte. 1 run, 2 hits, and nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Wildcats will try and increase their lead again. It's been trimmed to 5 at 8-3 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. We move to the bottom of inning number 5. Alabama A&M claws a run back. It's Bethune-Cookman 8, Alabama A&M 3 here at Sliwa Stadium on the campus of Embry-Riddle, where this series is taking place this weekend. Jeter Poyeto leads off for the Wildcats. He's 0 for 2, now one of just 2 Cats that have not gotten on base tonight, along with Jose Fernandez. First pitch, up and in, almost hit him as he has to lean back out of the way. This will probably be the final inning for Anthony Mateo, as that was pitch number 86 on the night. And 87 is upstairs ball 2. His longest outing of the season by pitch count was 99 2 weeks ago against Grambling State, where we went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits in a 9-8 Alabama A&M loss. Off the end of the bat, high fly ball down the right field line, and that's going to be caught just inside the chalk by Murray for outs number 1. Poyeto now 0 for 3. Here's Eric Almonte, who's 2 for 2 with 2 singles to right center.
Now batting number 29, Eric Almonte.
Mateo also has 95 pitch outing in his last game against Alabama State, 98 against UNC Asheville, and 92 against Tennessee Tech. In terms of innings pitched on the squad, coming in tonight, Anthony Mateo with 49.1 innings pitched. The 1-0 to Almonte is a strike, up and in. 49 1/3 innings pitched for Mateo on this season. The next closest is William Tarpley at 30. The 1-1. Breaking ball caught the corner for strike 2. In fact, Mateo is the only pitcher on this Alabama A&M squad who meets the minimum innings pitched requirement of 1 innings pitched per game. That one on a line to left, dropping in for a base hit. Eric Almonte has 3 singles tonight, all to either right or right center. He's seen the ball very well out of Mateo's hand. 1 out base hit. And Almonte has crossed the plate both times he's been on base, and that might be the end for Mateo, as we got a meeting on the mound and a signal to the bullpen by head coach Lewis Whitlow. So your final numbers on Mateo, currently responsible for Almonte on first. He goes 4 1/3 innings tonight, pitches 92 pitches, allows 8 runs on 8 hits, 7 earned, striking out 4, walking 2, also hit 2 batters. And here comes the brand new Alabama A&M pitcher. It'll be the redshirt senior from Madison, Alabama, at a Madison Academy High School, the career Bulldog, Avery Seaton.
Now on the mound for the Bulldogs, number 24, Avery Seaton.
Seaton comes into today, his 11th appearance of the season. 16 2/3 innings pitched. He's got a 5.94 ERA. He's allowed 15 runs on 23 hits. Only 11 of those 15 runs were earned. Striking out 10 and walking 11. He's allowed 3 doubles, 1 triple, 2 homers, and has a lofty batting average against of 371. He's thrown 1 wild pitch, hit 3 batters as well. So Avery Seaton, now in his 3rd year with this Alabama A&M program. He's really only gotten significant pitching time this season. Did make 10 appearances last year, 32 2/3 innings, at a 14.33 ERA. This year his ERA down at 5.94 and only half the innings pitched, 16 2/3.
Now batting, number 33, Jorge Rodriguez.
Here's Jorge Rodriguez. Struck out in the 2nd, singled to left center field with an RBI attached in the 3rd, and was thrown out trying to go from first to third on the base hit by Chris Watson on a beautiful throw by the right fielder Murray. Now a right-handed pitcher on the bump for Alabama A&M. First pitch, a slider strike to Jorge Rodriguez. One away, bottom 5. Wildcats up 8-3. Have out-hit the Bulldogs by that exact same number. The Bulldogs have made 2 errors and now have hit 3 batters, as that one was right off the elbow guard of Jorge Rodriguez. 2 on, 1 out now. An inauspicious start for Avery Seaton out of the bullpen.
Now batting number 44, Jose Fernandez.
4th hit by pitch of the season for Seaton. And here is Jose Fernandez, one of only 2 Wildcats to not reach base so far tonight. 2 strikeouts, both against the starter Mateo, both on sliders that ran away from him for strike 3. So Fernandez chomping at the bit to get on base and potentially drive Almonte and Rodriguez home. They're on first and second, 1 out in the inning. First pitch, breaking ball inside. Ball 1. Jose Fernandez, a redshirt junior now out of Venezuela. He's been the DH for the last couple of weeks. Big swing and a breaking ball in on the hands, chops it foul third base side. But has also played catcher and first base for Bethune-Cookman. Originally from Venezuela, as he hits this one in the air to center field. That's going to be caught on a line by Hammonds, and everybody tags up. First time that Fernandez has put it in play, but straight at the center fielder. Now 2 away, and here's Chris Watson. He's 2 for 2 with a single to center and a single to left. He also has 2 RBI tonight. Looking for more with Almonte on second and Rodriguez on first. Avery Seaton, first man out of the bullpen for Alabama A&M, trying to keep the Wildcats where they are. First pitch called, strike down and away. You can tell Watson was not happy about that one. Christopher Watson, the senior from Ridgeland, Mississippi, a transfer 2 seasons ago from Meridian Community College.
Oh, no, easy.
0-1 to Watson. Breaking ball, drops in there. And a strike call, 1 ball, 1 strike. Wasn't sure if the home plate umpire was signaling for a pitch clock violation there or a strike, and in the end it's 1-1 anyways. That breaking ball would have found the zone either way. Here's the pitch, down and in, ball 2. Last year for BCU, Watson just appeared in 17 games, batted .238 with 5 RBI. Just 21 at-bats. Contrast that with the 56 ABs he's got so far in 17 starts this season. Fastball at the knees, 2-2. Avery Seaton trying to do his job out of the bullpen and strand a couple of Wildcats here in the 5th. The 2-2 with 2 outs. Watson in the air down the first base line, tailing into foul territory, and caught at the wall on the slide by Rice. A really impressive play by Zach Rice, sliding near the wall on the first base side in foul territory. And that's the end of the inning. No runs, a hit, 2 left for the Wildcats. We go to the 6th, still at 8-3. Bethune-Cookman lead here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. The Wildcats strand 2 in the bottom of the 5th, and we go to the 6th inning with the Wildcats still up by 5, 8-3. Edwin Sanchez still on the mound for Bethune-Cookman. 76 pitches into his work through 5 innings. First batter of the inning is Bryson Hammonds, as he was in the box when Miles Jackson was caught stealing to end the top of the 5th. First pitch outside. We may not even be close to seeing the end of Sanchez tonight if he continues to work well. He's thrown 103 and 104 pitches on 2 occasions this season. That 104 pitch outing was his second to last one against Southern. 7 innings, 104 pitches. Allowed 1 run on 6 hits, and it gave the Wildcats won 6-3. Big cut and miss ahead of the changeup up and in. A ball and 2 strikes now on Hammonds. Hammonds 1 for 2, a 2-run home run in the 1st, and a pop out in the 6th. Home plate umpire Patrick Graham calls time. Everybody gets a chance to take a deep breath, and now Hammonds will stand back into the box on a 1-2 pitch. Is trying to get the chase down and low. These Wildcats have lived dangerously at times this season, but especially over the last couple weeks, and really especially in the good midweek wins, as there's a swing and a missed strike 3. Down goes Hammonds. 1 away in the inning. 5th strikeout for Edwin Sanchez. To finish my point, Wildcats have done well living dangerously. They're top 50 in Division I baseball in left-on base percentage. 70% of opposing runners that reach base are left on base. And the defense has really come a long way these last couple weeks. First pitch slider upstairs to Terrace Murray. He's 0 for 2, a fly to left and a strikeout. Fastball in there for a strike. That one smacked over Andre Martinez's head and down the third base line. Murray's going to turn for second and be there with a stand-up double. Outside the home run by Bryson Hammonds back in the 1st, that's the best piece of contact Alabama A&M has had off of Sanchez since that 1st inning. A&M got 1 back in the 5th after a leadoff double. He scored on a double play grounded into by Charles Morris. That was A.J. Anderson who scored that one. That's a fly ball foul outside of 1st. Not happy with himself is Zach Rice, who made the really nice sliding play in foul territory to end the bottom of the 5th and strand 2 Wildcats on board. Rice 0 for 1 with a walk. Stranded on 1st after walking in the 4th, and he popped out on the infield in the 1st. Fastball right at the knees for a strike. Zach Rice not happy with the call. Stared down Graham, the home plate umpire, and now stands back in. A 0-2 count. Fastball upstairs, didn't get the swing, 1-2. Traffic on the base paths in back-to-back innings for the first time for the Bulldogs. They're trying to claw back down 8-3. Breaking ball did not catch the corner, 2-2. Sanchez deals. Fouled away, count holds 2-2. With their 3 big midweek wins, the Wildcats have climbed into the top 100 teams in the net rankings, currently sitting at 97. That time, breaking ball, strike 3 called over the heart of the plate, and Rice knew it. 6th K for Sanchez, second one looking. 2 outs in the inning, and here is Isaac Castro, who's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly out to left. That ball gets into center field off a spin and a throwback to second. So now another runner 90 feet away. That wasn't even close from Edwin Sanchez. Just sailed that ball to the left of Boyedo, who was covering the bag. First error of the game committed by the Wildcats. Still 2 outs, so Castro's gonna have to get one down to score the run anyway. Fastball to high. And the Wildcats up to number 97 in the net. The closest SWAC team to them is currently Alabama State at 209, then Florida A&M at 217. Breaking ball, strike at the belt. Wildcats in standard depth, big hole up the middle. Fastball, another strike. Now Sanchez a strike away from getting out of this inning and stranding another Bulldog on base. The lefty from the stretch. Ground ball back up the middle. There's an RBI single. Murray scores, Castro aboard. The only place where there was a big gap was right there. And Castro sent it right back where it came from, and it is 8-4.
Now batting number 33, Travell Johnson.
And that error by Sanchez to throw the ball into center field really cost him, because I don't think that Murray's coming home on that softly hit ball if he's on second. Good frame by Lucena on the first pitch to Travell Johnson, who's 0 for 2. Grounded out to third in the second. And then was a victim of one of the best plays of the season from Darrell Lee. Eric Almonte dropped the ball in shallow center. Oh my goodness, just as I was praising the defense in the last inning, 2 errors in the frame, and the inning continues for Alabama A&M.
Now batting number 1, A.J. Anderson.
Oh my goodness, that was as easy of an easy one as you can have, and Eric Almonte just let it fall out of his glove. And this is what's gonna kill you in the tournament. You can have all the talent in the world, all the pitching in the world, score a ton of runs, but if your defense plays like this and you keep teams around in games, especially the better teams in this conference like Florida A&M, like Arkansas Pine Bluff, they will punish you for this. And that's not to say that Alabama A&M won't punish you right now. Here's A.J. Anderson. Doubled and scored in the 5th, flew out to center in the 2nd. First pitch, slow and away, ball 1. And this will now probably certainly be Edwin Sanchez's last inning, as his pitch count has creeped up to 96. Could have been out of this inning 2 times over. Swing and a miss, fastball low, 1-1. Johnson on third. Sorry, Castro on third, Johnson on first. Swinging a foul away right at the plate, 1-2. A double, a single, and 2 errors have allowed a run to score for Alabama A&M, and this inning to continue. That one in the air to left field. Lee going back on it, and he will make the catch on the move towards the track. But a run on 2 hits, 2 errors, and 2 left, and Alabama A&M creeps closer. It's now 8-4 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Once again, Alabama A&M gets another run back in the 6th. And what was 8-2 is now 8-4. The Wildcats haven't scored since the 3rd and have stranded 4 runners since. Top of the order for the Cats, here's Darrell Lee, who's 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and a walk and 2 runs scored. First pitch way outside. This is Avery Seaton, starting his first full inning of work after going 2/3 of an inning on 9 pitches and leaving 2 Wildcats on base after coming in out of the bullpen. But he's behind Darrell Lee, 2 balls, no strikes. Wildcats still riding the wave of a really good first 3 innings, 2 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third. But nothing since, and D. Lee is ahead in the count, 3 balls, no strikes here against Seaton. Seaton with a negative strikeout to walk ratio on the year, 11 walks, 10 strikeouts. Here's the 3-0. Ball 4. Looked like it might have caught the zone at the knees, but the home plate umpire Patrick Graham says otherwise. Leadoff man aboard for the Wildcats. 3rd free pass of the game for Darrell Lee. He's been hit by a pitch and walked twice. He's barely had to swing the bat tonight. Here's Andre Martinez. We had a rulings change, or a scoring change. So Martinez now technically 2 for 3, a home run and a double. And a ground out to 3rd. I originally had him reaching on an error in the 4th on a pop fly that was misjudged by Castro. It was judged to not have hit Castro's gloves, but it is a hit. First pitch, breaking ball, strike 1. Martinez was picked off of second base to really end the threat in a promising 4th inning where the Wildcats had 1st and 2nd and 1 out. Fastball low, 1-1. Martinez, the reigning SWAC Player of the Year, has had a little bit of a rough go of it this season, but has rebounded well up to hitting .319. He's now hit 6 home runs. He was looking for number 7 right there as he tips one into the glove. He's down A ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Seaton. It's actually going to be a throwback to first. The Wildcats have put the leadoff man aboard in all but the last 2 innings. So the first, the second, the third, and now the 6th, the leadoff man has been aboard. And in all those innings, the leadoff man has scored. So we'll see if that trend continues here in the 6th. Martinez swinging a drive to right field. That's going to be a gapper to the wall. Darrell Lee, with his speed, is going to roll home from first and into third with an RBI stand-up triple. Is Andre Martinez. Have a night, young man. Now 3 for 4. A homer, a double, a triple, and 4 RBI. And that just continues his really hot streak this weekend, where, remember, on Tuesday against Florida, he was 3 for 6 with a homer, a double, a homer, 2 doubles, and 5 RBI. And we might have a pitching change here for Alabama A&M, as there's a meeting on the mound, a change of the ball, and Avery Seaton is done after just 2/3 of an inning. I'm going to give the audience a chance to guess how many triples Andre Martinez has on the year now. I'll poll the audience in the press box as well. Bryce gives me the big 0 that would have been correct 30 seconds ago. He now has 1. That was his first triple on the year. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And make sure you are representing BCU Athletics to the fullest, featuring all new items at the BCU online store. Go to bcuathletics.com/shop and click on Find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on Shop. The third pitcher for Alabama A&M tonight is the senior from Aurora, Colorado, Nick Espinola. Espinola, 6'2", transfer from Trinidad State Community College 2 seasons ago. He's got a .494 ERA on the year. That's the second best on the team behind Anthony Mateo. So Alabama A&M still thinks they can win this game. They're thrown now their top 2 arms, the starter Mateo and now Espinola. Here's Michael Rodriguez, will be the first man to face the right-hander from Colorado. Andre Martinez on third after his RBI triple. And that ball gets away. Here comes Martinez. He's going to score standing up. The first pitch for Espinola is a wild pitch that scores Andre Martinez. And the Wildcats are trying to leave no doubt here. They're back up by 6, 10-4. And have undone all the offensive work that Alabama A&M has done over the past 2 innings. So now Mikey Rodriguez can just stand in and try and go to work. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. A strikeout, a ground out to first, and that aforementioned base on balls, and another one by Espinola, not close. Season numbers on Espinola, he's 1-1, 16 appearances, 1 start. 23 2/3 innings pitched with a .494 ERA, as I mentioned, second on the team. He's given up 18 runs on 35 hits, 13 earned. That one a strike at the knees, 2-1 on Rodriguez. Striking out 20 and walking 13. He's allowed 11 doubles, 1 triple, 1 homer, and has an opponent batting average of .355. 54. He's hit 4 batters as Rodriguez was trying to launch one into the tennis courts. Swings and misses on the 12-6 curve, 2-2. That was the first wild pitch thrown by Espinola on this season, but it was a big one as Martinez came in to score to make it 10-4. Here's the 2-2 to Michael Rodriguez. High chopper, foul ball just to the right of first. Barely avoided the line. Two in, nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Wildcats are trying to get back into run rule territory. Still 4 runs away from that. And after 2 foul balls, here's the 2-2 to Rodriguez. Ground ball fair, just inside the third base bag and headed for the corner. Rodriguez racing towards second. Jackson has trouble digging the ball out of the corner. He fires into the infield to keep him to just a double. That one was laced, and a seeing eye double down the third base line. The Wildcats continue. Walk, triple, double, 2 runs so far in the inning.
Now batting number 10, Michael Lucena.
Here is Lucena. Scored on an inside the park home run in the first, then was hit by a pitch and scored in the third. Popped out on the infield in the fourth. He is 1 for 2 with that aforementioned hit by pitch. 2 RBI, 2 runs scored. And he's got Michael Rodriguez on second. Still nobody out. First pitch, slider strike. Nick Espinola, for his first 2 college seasons, was at Trinidad State Community College in Colorado. High bouncer. Charging from second is Castro. He throws to first in time. 4 out number 1. Almost a swinging bunt will get Michael Rodriguez over to third with 1 away. And here's Jeter Poyeto, who's 0 for 3.
Now batting
Still
number 2,
just
Jeter
Poyeto and Jose Fernandez have not reached base for the Wildcats tonight. And Coach Hernandez not happy, and I think I know why. It's because he thought the first baseman, Zach Rice, impeded on the safety bag at that green bag to the right of first. And Michael Lucena should be safe because it was not a lane to the safety bag for him to run to. Don't think this will be overturned. I think this is just going to be a courtesy conversation by the 3 umpires. No review here at Riddle. So Lucena is out, 1 away in the inning. Here's Jeter Poyeto. Put the ball in play every time. 2 pop-ups to the infield and a fly out to right. He's got Michael Rodriguez on third, 90 feet away with 1 out here in the 6th. I talked about Bethune-Cookman's left on base percentage was up at 70%. Alabama A&M's is down at just 54. So almost half the runners that reach base against Alabama A&M come around to score on average. First pitch was called a strike. Fastball low and away to the right hand, hitting Poyeto. Oh, 1 big cut and miss by Poyeto. Fastball inside and high by his collarbone. And it's 0-2. Bethune-Cookman, of course, best team in the conference by far in the net rankings, up at 97. Alabama A&M second to last, 305 in the net. 1 spot ahead of Alcorn's 306. Upstairs and out. Poyeto watches it for ball 1. Alabama A&M also 306 in the RPI. The Wildcats' RPI is not as kind to them as the net rankings. They're down at 168. One ball, 2 strikes to Poyeto. The breaking ball is hit in the air down the right field line. Tracking is Murray. He's going to make the catch, racing in, and the throw will be cut off, so it's an RBI for Poyeto. Michael Rodriguez scores. It's a 3-run inning for the Cats to put them up 11-4.
Now batting number 29, Eric Almonte.
Here's Eric Almonte, 3 for 3, 3 singles, all to right field. Of course, like most SWAC teams, the conference doesn't help strength of schedule. Both of these teams' strength of schedule is down in the low 200 range in terms of rankings in the country. Wildcats 284, Bama A&M 292. 1-0 in the air to center field, but tracking it to his left is Hammonds to make the catch. 3 runs for the Cats on 2 hits, and nobody left on. We go to the top of the 7th. Wildcats have pushed their advantage to 11-4 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. New pitcher on the bump for Bethune-Cookman as we go to the 7th inning. 100 even on the pitch count for Edwin Sanchez. He goes 6 innings, gives up 4 runs on 5 hits, 3 earned, strikes out 6, walks 2, and he hands over to Brian Rincones, the junior out of Orenestad, Aruba, the transfer from Northwest Florida State. The righty will face Devontae Wells, first batter of the inning for Alabama A&M. Wells, soft pop-up behind the third base bag. Almonte calls off Martinez, 1 pitch out, number 1. Wells now 0 for 2 with a walk.
Now batting number 38, Charles Morris.
Here's the 9-hole hitter, Charles Morris, a strikeout looking and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in his 2 appearances. This is only the 7th appearance of the season for Brian Rincones. Fastball, strike 1 to Morris. Pitched a lot early in the year in the non-conference, then didn't pitch from the 4th of March to the 11th of April, missed the whole month. Tap back to the screen ball, strike 2. Then got back into the swing of things last weekend with 1 inning against Mississippi Valley in the 13-2 win. That was the middle of a 3-game series. Gave up nothing on 2 hits, struck out 1. Rincones on the year an even 4 ERA. He's 2-0 with wins over Yale and South Florida. Took the win in the first W over South Florida back on February 24th. 9 innings pitched. He's given up 4 runs on 9 hits all earned. As the 0-2. Check swing. Strike 3. That was the slowest strike call I think I've ever seen. Patrick Graham really sold Morris. And the fans and the Alabama A&M coaching staff are not happy. That is the second strikeout looking for Morris tonight. That one did look a bit low, but punched out by Patrick Graham. Rincones has allowed no extra base hits in his 9 innings of work. 9 strikeouts, 5 walks. And he's 2 outs, and we're back to the top of the order for Miles Jackson. Fastball up and in, buzzes the tower, ball 1. In fact, he's only given up runs in 2 of his 6 appearances. That was 3 runs on 5 hits in 3 innings against Yale. A game the Wildcats came back to win in a walk-off fashion, 7-5. Ground ball to third. That's going to be picked by Almonte, deep in the hole. The throw across is late, and an infield single for Miles Jackson. He's now 2 for 3. 2 singles, a hit by pitch, and a fly to center tonight for Jackson. He's also scored a run in the first, came in on the home run on the hit by pitch. Tough play for Almonte and Martinez there on the left side of the infield. The other appearance where Rincones gave up a run was the last time he pitched before his month off, where he only threw 15 pitches against Miami. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 run on 1 hit, walk 1. Breaking ball slashes into the zone for strike 1. To Bryson Hammonds. 2-run home run in the first, then a pop-up on the infield and a strikeout in his last 2 plate appearances for Hammonds. High chopper towards third. The throw across the diamond is a strong one from Andre Martinez. A bullet on the money to get the speedy Hammonds by half a step. Nothing on a hit and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Wildcats could walk this off with 3 runs for a run rule victory. We will see if they do so when we come back on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Another pitching change for Alabama A&M as we hit the bottom of the 7th. Wildcats up 11-4. 7-8-9 in the order due up for the Cats. Here's Jorge Rodriguez, who's 1 for 2 in the hit by pitch.
Jorge Rodriguez.
The new pitcher is Raymond Clark, the junior from Atlanta, Georgia. Started his collegiate career at Stillman. Has gone from HBCU to HBCU. This is his second year with the Bulldogs. First pitch fastball strike on the outside corner. Clark is 0-1, 11 appearances with 1 start, with a 15.43 ERA on the season in 11 2/3 innings pitched. The lefty deals, breaking ball in the opposite batter's box, 1-1. He's given up 22 runs on 14 hits, 20 earned, striking out 10 and walking 12. He's allowed 5 doubles, no triple, 1 homer, and opponent batting average of .298. The 1-1 to Jorge Rodriguez is in the dirt. Well, it's 11-4 here in the bottom of the 7th in Daytona Beach. Let's go around the SWAC. Alabama State has increased their lead to 3-0 over Jackson State in the bottom of the 7th. Grambling State up 9-2 over Prairie View A&M, that game in the top of the 8th. Swing and a tip into the glove for strike 2. 2-2 now on Rodriguez. Alcorn State was up 4-1. It's now 4-4 in the 7th between Alcorn State and Southern. And 2 games already in the books tonight. Arkansas Pine Bluff a 6-4 win over Texas Southern. High drive, foul back into the parking lot on the third base side. Still 2-2. And Florida A&M had to come back and walk off Mississippi Valley State with 2 in the 9th. They win the first of that 3-game series 6-5. Of course, the Wildcats would love for the Delta Devils to do them a favor this weekend. That one low and in, 3 balls, 2 strikes, because 1 loss for FAMU on the weekend and a Wildcats sweep here would mean the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats would sit solo atop the SWAC leaderboards at the end of the season, at the end of the weekend, right now tied with Florida A&M. Here's the payoff. Fouled straight back in off the inside of the bat of Rodriguez. Not a ton of interesting contests in the SWAC this weekend. I mean, Alabama State, Jackson State is interesting because Jackson State is currently below the playoff line. They're a game behind Mississippi Valley. Once again, the payoff pitch. Outside ball 4. Really nice AB by Jorge Rodriguez as he works a leadoff walk. Now the 5th of 7 innings that the leadoff man has gotten aboard for the Wildcats.
Now batting, number 44, Jose Fernandez.
And in the 4 previous innings where the leadoff man has got aboard, he has come in to score. It was Darrell Lee in the 1st and 5th, and then Michael Lucena in the 3rd, and Eric Almonte in the 2nd. Here is Jose Fernandez, one of only 2 Wildcats to not reach base tonight. Big run on that sweeper, misses inside ball 1. Strikeout, strikeout, fly out to center from Fernandez. The 2 strikeouts were against the starter, Anthony Mateo. And then in the 5th, he flew out to center. Nice hit, but straight at Hammonds. The 1-0. Fastball caught the corner, 1-1. This is the last series the Wildcats will play on the season that is against a bottom 3rd team in the conference. The last 4 series, all bangers. No deep cuts. 1-1. That's a sharply hit ground ball. Third base side for a base hit. And hitless on the night, no more, is Jose Fernandez. 2 on, nobody out for the Wildcats here in the 7th. Next weekend is potentially the biggest series of the year at Florida A&M up in Tallahassee. The winner of that series will have pole position for the #1 seed going into the SWAC tournament. Then they'll host Arkansas Pine Bluff, travel to Alabama State, and host Grambling State. All 4 of those teams in the top 6 of the conference right now. Backdoor slider caught the zone to Chris Watson, who is 2 for 3, a single, like 2 singles, a run scored and an RBI. And then he was robbed by a really nice sliding catch by the first baseman, Zach Rice, in foul territory back in the 5th. 2 on, nobody out here in the 7th inning. Watson in the air to center field. That's going to push Hammonds back about 3 steps, and a nice throw in to keep the runners where they are, 1 away in the inning.
Now batting, #1, Darrell Lee.
Wildcats now in a position where a long ball would end the game. 3 runs from a run rule victory here. Darrell Lee is 0 for 1 with 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and 3 runs scored. He hasn't even had to take the bat off his shoulder tonight to do damage. One time he got out was a fly to left back in the 4th. First pitch from Clark is a strike. Clark got some decent zip on his fastball. His statistics tell you that his command is a little lacking, but I haven't really seen that yet. That one misses upstairs by Lee's head, 1-1. These 2 teams will tussle again tomorrow night. 6 p.m. Eastern, right back here at Sliwa Stadium at Embry-Riddle on the CatEye Network and SWAC TV. One to Lee. And Lee pops it into foul territory on the 3rd base side. That will get down and bounce in the dirt and hop over the short wall into the Wildcat bullpen. As Johnson gave chase from his 3rd base spot. Just a long strike, a ball, and 2 strikes now. We're back at Jackie Robinson on Tuesday night. For the 3rd straight week, the Wildcats will face a ranked opponent as UCF comes to town. Can the Wildcats go 4 for 4 in the last 4 weeks against midweek opponents? You'll have to find out on Tuesday. The 2-2 down and away, full count to Lee. First and second, 1 out in the 7th. Here's the payoff. Lee just barely got a piece of it, and it actually hit the umpire, Patrick Graham, on the shoulder on its way to the backstop. Graham grimaces in pain a little bit, but waves off, and he advances from the trainer. Correction, it is a 2-2 count. I thought it was 3-2. This is not a payoff pitch. Still 2 strikes on Lee, got to protect here. Pitch from Clark. Launched foul, first base side. That was a 12-6 curve that looked like it was going to be inside on the hands of Lee. He turned on it and was just a little bit too far ahead of it. The game coming up on Tuesday against UCF is the last midweek game at home for the Cats this season. Lee in the air, right center field. That's going to drop in for a hit. Everybody moves up a base as Hammonds covers and fires in. Rodriguez to 3rd, Fernandez to 2nd, and Lee to 1st. And here is Andre
Now batting, number 36, Andre Martinez.
Andre Martinez is a single shy of the cycle. homer in the second, double in the fourth, triple in the fifth. And we're going to talk about it before a pitch is thrown to Martinez. We'll have a new pitcher for Alabama A&M. Head coach Lewis Whitlow has seen enough of Clark, and the Bulldogs will go to their fifth pitcher of the night. The last man to hit for the cycle for Bethune-Cookman was Adonis Lau on May 6th, 2018 in a game at Miami. Andre Martinez a single shy, as he will have to face the new Alabama A&M pitcher. Stay up to date with Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on X and Instagram at BCU_athletics. For the latest on BCU baseball, follow at BCU Diamondcats on X and Instagram. The new pitcher for Alabama A&M is Virgil Heath, the sophomore from Atlanta, a Division I transfer from Georgia State. Heath is 0-3 on the year, 8 appearances, 3 starts, with a 7.50 ERA.
Now on the mound for the Bulldogs, number 15, Virgil Heath.
12 innings pitched for Heath. He's allowed 18 runs on 16 hits. Just 10 of those 18 runs were earned, striking out 12 and walking 9. He's allowed 3 doubles, no triples, 1 homer, and has a batting average against of .327. He's allowed 1 wild pitch, 8 hit-by pitches, and has thrown no balks. Last year at Georgia State, pitched 4 1/3 innings, didn't have a record, and a 6.23 ERA. 3 runs, 3 hits, striking out 3, walking 1. And made his college debut, ironically, against Alabama A&M. Here's Andre Martinez, bases loaded, 1 out. Here in the 7th, the Wildcats 3 runs away from a run rule victory. Andre Martinez 1 single away from the cycle. 12-6 curve, strike 1. Clark just went 1/3 of an inning, 20 pitches. Allowed 2 hits, walked 1, is responsible for all 3 runners on base. The 0-1. Yanked it to the opposite batter's box with a fastball, did Heath. 1-1. We'll get a refresh of the pitch clock, and Martinez will stand back in. Rodriguez on 3rd, Fernandez on 2nd, Lee on 1st. Walk, single, single. Martinez has to lean out of the way of that curve. 2 balls, a strike. Wind, as it has been all day, lazily blowing in from right field. Here's the 2-1. In the dirt, the ball gets away from the catcher, back to the backstop. That is the 2nd wild pitch that will score a run in this game for the Wildcats. Jorge Rodriguez scores. Fernandez goes to 3rd, Lee to 2nd. He now represents the winning run. It is 12-4 Bethune-Cookman, and Martinez is ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike. Now the infield plays in, trying to cut down a runner at home. And it's ball 4, skip to the plate, and the chance for the cycle goes begging for Martinez. He never even got a chance to swing the bat, as he got walked on 5 pitches. Bases loaded up again. Hernandez third, Lee on second, Martinez on first. Still 1 out in the inning. That was the Chris Watson fly out to center field. Michael Rodriguez now, who is 1 for 3 with a walk, a double, 2 RBI and a run scored. Sorry, 1 RBI and a run scored. Brought in Darrell Lee with a doubled left back in the 6th. First pitch up and out as Virgil Heath struggling to find the strike zone. Upstairs again on the 1-0, 2-0. 5 straight balls thrown by Heath. This is where if we were at Texas A&M, they'd be chanting ball 5. Line drive left field. That's going to get down and head towards the wall, and that will end the ball game. Fernandez scores from third, Lee scores from second, and that'll do it. The Wildcats will walk it off with a 14-4 run rule victory. 2 doubles in his last 2 ABs for Mikey Rodriguez, and it got a little hairy there in the middle innings, as at one point Alabama A&M had cut the lead to 8-4, but the last 6 runs are scored by the Wildcats, and they win this one 14-4 over Alabama A&M. Your final line scored tonight: Bethune-Cookman 14 runs, 14 hits, committed 2 errors, and left 3 on base. Alabama A&M 4 runs on 6 hits, committed 1 error, and left 4 on base. Your winning pitcher is Edwin Sanchez. He moves to 7-1 on the season as he goes 6 innings, gives up 4 runs on 5 hits, 3 earned, strikes out 6. Not his best performance of the season, but I didn't get the best defense behind him either. Wildcats only use 2 pitchers as Brian Rincones goes 1 inning, gives up nothing on a hit, throws 9 pitches, strikes out 1. The losing pitcher is Mateo. Anthony Mateo now 2-4 on the year. AAMU uses 5 pitchers: Mateo, Seaton, Espinola, Clark, and Heath. Although Seaton, Clark, and Heath all go less than a full inning, we'll probably see them again this series. Time of your ball game, 2 hours and 43 minutes as the Wildcats come away with a 14-4 win here in Daytona Beach tonight. Well, for our producer, Dayon, and the rest of our CatEye Network crew, my name is Michael Turillo. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. for Game 2 of the series between Bethune-Cookman and Alabama A&M. Until then, have a very good night, and hail Wildcats.